Hello, I'm Ryan F9 and this is a grandfather clock, the first gasoline engine to propel any vehicle ever. 2 billion sinners on the road today. Meet Adam. By 1885, grinding a piston and fitting it in a cylinder was well practiced by steam engineers. The only thing preventing a gasoline engine was the problem of igniting it at precisely the right moment.
Nowadays, we use electronics to spark up to 20,000 times per minute, but a century and a half ago, even 750 RPM seemed impossible.
Until Gottlieb Daimler pioneered the hot tube ignition. Exactly like it sounds, a closed tube sticking out of the combustion chamber and heated by an open flame.
Compressed gas is pushed into the tube until it reaches the hot spot and ignites. Still the simplest engine in the world to adjust timing on, just slide the candle closer or further away.
It's an original motor, but the motor cycle was outdated horse shit. There's no brake, there's no trail. It needed training wheels just to stay upright. Daimler called this the Reitwagen, or riding car, and he put scarce thought into the platform itself because he saw it as a necessary evil en route to powering four-wheeled carriages for douchebag influencers.
As such, Daimler's quick fix for sheltering the hot tube ignition flame was to hide it under the seat.
Gottlieb sent his least favorite son on the test ride, during which the saddle inevitably caught fire. In subsequent tests, the ignition tube overheated and shattered, so it was a two-trick pony that either cooked or fragged your nutsack, and that proved unpopular. But the Reitwagen did succeed in setting the mold, a 264cc piston and an air-cooled cylinder on a crankshaft. I mean, it's the building block for almost every configuration to follow. I'll link to our video below if you want to hear the pros and cons of every common motorcycle engine, but this video is for the freaks, like my twingle.
2 pistons sharing 1 combustion chamber. It's a Siamese twin, a split single, a twingle.
Why would anyone do that? Well, there's an intelligent reason, which is more relevant today than ever.
See, traditional two-strokes require a direct path from intake to exhaust, meaning some burnt shit remains unflushed and some unburnt gas passes straight through to Al Gore's garden.
No. This is called poor scavenging, and is the reason two-strokes went extinct. They have the fuel efficiency of a leaky jerry can and the bottom-end torque of an earwax candle. It's just tragically human to forget that we already solved this problem 100 years ago with the twingle.
By splitting the intake and exhaust chambers, it's as clean and torquey as a 4-stroke while preserving the valveless simplicity of a 2-stroke.
Unfortunately, the twingle was forgotten. When it was invented in 1918, the only emission people cared about was mustard gas. So all they saw here was a goofy combustion chamber that asked its flame to propagate down a long hallway and then around a corner. Such a pedestrian push is no stronger than a normal single, so no one bothered to build them. Only Pook made a significant number of twingles for the Sears catalog, mail-order beginner bikes for which the torque off idle was more agreeable than top-end power.
Pook even managed to mount the pistons on a single Y-shaped girder, a fortification that was also a sophistication, forcing one piston to lead the other, perfect scavenging.
With a modern twingle, you could probably make a 2-stroke that passes Euro 5 and will be maintainable by a barn hand for the next 100 years.
Now, a radial engine is the reverse. Rather than multiple cylinders converging on a single combustion chamber, we have multiple cylinders radiating from a single crank pin. Of course, on a motorcycle, there's only one place to naturally fit a circle.
They call them rotary radials, and there are some problems with spinning the entire engine around a stationary crankshaft. The carburetors operate on a very delicate Venturi system, so you never really needed a throttle anyway. Also, overnight, when it sits, all the oil is going to seep down and hydrolock the bottom cylinders. It's actually less of a problem than when it runs. Centrifugally speaking, we're stuck with a total loss oiling system where standard operating procedure is to eject all of the hot dinosaurs out onto your tire. Also, you don't get a clutch or a front brake.
The Magola manual actually recommends that riders make little circles in the roadway if they need to pause their journey, because a running radial rotary cannot be stopped.
They also spec'd sausage-shaped tubes, the only way to enable patching a tire without dismantling the entire engine. But hey, the air cooling is fantastic. The rigidity of the crankshaft is comparatively very, very tight. The flywheel weight is unstoppable. Even in the 20s, rotary radials could hit 150.
There has never been a faster way to ride to the scene of a massive accident.
Right. Rather than spin the entire engine, can we just spin the internals?
They call this a wankel. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow. It's the typical auto cycle danced by a weird triangle in a weird oval. No piston reciprocates, so nothing shakes. This 1970s wankel rides smoother than my new Beamer. Especially because every stroke is a power stroke. See how the same chamber is constantly served with fresh charge?
It sounds perfect. And it sounded perfect to Suzuki, who nearly went bankrupt building this RE5.
See, the fatal flaw is at the core of this engine. It needs to seal here, here, and here.
I can seal something that sits, or spins, or reciprocates, but how do you seal something that oscillates? You don't. The best we can do is to burn oil with the gas to keep everything goopy.
And in an engine that ejects exhaust while it's still burning, that's the environmental equivalent of shitting the jacuzzi. So let's return to reciprocating pistons, but try mounting them on separate cranks to get a nimbler engine. This is called a U-twin.
Wait, how would double the cranks be nimbler? Well, crankshafts are big and heavy and spinny, so they make for quite powerful gyroscopes. Gyroscopes resist leaning, which is less than ideal for a racing motorcycle. But with two cranks, we can spin one way and one the other way, canceling the gyroscopic forces. A U engine will fall into a corner as easily as an electric bike, which is how Suzuki won world championships way back in 76 and 77 with this RG500 Square 4.
Which is just a U engine with two pistons on each of the crankshafts.
The reason no one makes a Square 4 anymore is cooling. On early air-cooled versions, the sheltered rear cylinders had a standard melting interval. Even with modern liquid circulation, this is just a massive engine block to stumble over.
We could solve the problem and cause another by flipping the rear bank. This is called an H4, which is totally cool, except it has the balance of a paint shaker. The H4 was only tried once by the Brough Superior Golden Dream, a motorcycle idolized for its rarity, if not its engineering clarity.
But there's one engine that makes even less sense, and it's the Honda Oval.
Where each piston is elongated to ride two rods. There is zero natural reason to do this, only a former artificial one. See, MotoGP was once open to two strokes, which everyone naturally chose since they make twice the power. But Soichiro Honda hated two strokes. He also threw a geisha out of a window. Soichiro was a man of powerful and peculiar impulses. So he orders his engineers to build a competitive four-stroke. Since it makes half the power pulses, such a thing would need to rev twice as fast.
And to breathe twice as fast, you need twice the valves. And to fit twice the valves, you would need twice the pistons, but MotoGP is capped at 4 cylinders, ergo, the oval piston.
It's essentially a V8 conjoined into a V4.
Much like wankels, our problem is the atypical shapes. A heated circle will expand uniformly from its wrist pin, but a heated oval will push its 2 conrods apart, which is why Honda's NR bikes had the expensive habit of exploding their rods at 20,000 RPM. And the motors were so high friction that to avoid locking up downshifts, Honda had to invent the slipper clutch. So at least one good thing came from the exercise and eccentricity. So we come back to the circular piston in the cylinder. If we don't want the bizarre, we're left with the ancient, a dilemma American voters are familiar with. I think the only obscure motors with a future are the electric ones. We'll explore those next time. Thank you very much for watching, and thanks to 2 museums for letting us film their rare engines. It's a happy coincidence that the Dealey exhibition in Vancouver and the Dream Cycle Museum in Sorrento are both world-class collections separated by a world-class highway. Hint, hint. And if you do the bucket list ride, we recommend Flying Eyes. And these were made for preventing eye fatigue for long-haul pilots, hence the prescription lenses, the magnetic sunnies, the pressure point-free temples. But you have a tinted visor, which is useless the moment you step off the bike. But gas station sunglasses, they're cheap. Yes, good luck getting a lifetime warranty from Chevron. But you can carry a second pair, sure, then I look like an American. We really scrutinize the products we take for sponsorships. We think Flying Eyes are worth it. Click the link below. But with 2 cranks, we can spin one way. Fuck. No. Okay.